back, folks. It is Jafer, and today we're going to take a look at what some might consider a clone or a vastly improved version of the G305 by Logitech, and that's going to be the i303 Pro by AJAZZ. Now, Banggood did provide me with this mouse. They reached out for a review. I gladly accepted because I love egg-shaped mice, and the G305 and the G Pro Wired was one of my favorite mice ever. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this, but just of course keep note that while this was provided to me, this had no impact on my review or overall impressions. But let's go ahead and get started. Fortunately, while the box is super beat up, the contents of the box are not, and that's going to be your AA battery, the actual cover to the mouse itself, and your USB dongle that can sit safely and securely inside of the mouse, just like your G305. The i303 Pro is going to be a symmetrical mouse, but only for your right-handed user, as there are no buttons on the right-hand side for any left-handed folks. We do have a size of 118 millimeters long, looking at 60 millimeters at the grip, and then 38.5 millimeters tall. And here you see a side-by-side comparison with the G305. You can see there's no comfort grooves on the Pro, but the hump is a little bit larger. All in all, though, it's going to have a very similar, familiar shape that you've already used to if you use a 305 or a 203 by Logitech. To get started, you're simply just going to remove the shell as it snaps on and off. Insert the negative side of your battery first. Go ahead and reinstall that shell and you're good to go. Inside is going to be the PixArt 3338 sensor. And unfortunately, there's two issues that I do have with this. One, the main one being that the liftoff distance on this is absolutely insane. I measured it at 2.4 millimeters off the surface of my mouse pad that it was still getting a reading on. And then because I'm unable to download the software, the website it lists it, but it doesn't even allow me to download it. I don't even know if I can adjust the liftoff distance with this. And with this sensor, I've noticed that the battery life on it seems to be really short. And unfortunately, we're not going to get anywhere near a comparison of 250 hours of battery life because Logitech does have the proprietary technology of the Hero sensor that does conserve battery life, unlike any other sensor. Now, if that battery does happen to get to around 15% battery life, it will throw up a red LED indicator at the top, letting you know it's time to replace that battery. So AJAZZ is counting 8 buttons total on the mouse, and you're wondering how does that even work? And what it is we're looking at mouse 1 and 2. We're looking at the DPI button as well as pressing in on the scroll wheel. We also have 2 side buttons on the side here, and then on the bottom there's also an RGB light as well as a polling rate. And with that RGB button, there is RGB on the front and back. On the back, underneath your palm, it reads only Victory in some hard to read font. And then on the front, there's 2 small components underneath both triggers, and it just rotates through your regular RGB cycling. It is just completely pointless, and it would shave some weight if we didn't have it at all since you can't see it. However, when you are using the mouse and it is in movement, it does turn that RGB off to conserve some of that battery life. We're looking at 5 total feet underneath the mouse. They're your standard Teflon PTFE feet that are black. They're not treated and they're not any high grade of any sort, just your standard feet. And unfortunately, the mouse is just not that popular where you're going to be able to find third-party mouse feet. So you're going to have to get a little bit creative and purchase some and make proper cuts or just find really small dots to place around each corner. They're going to offer your average glide for a mouse of this price point as it only comes in at $33.99. And I do feel like the feet are actually a little bit thinner than they should be, as if you do put a little bit of force into the mouse, say if you're looking to stop, you can actually feel the buttons underneath start rubbing against the surface and creating a lot of drag and noise. On the triggers of mouse 1 and 2, you're going to be getting Omron 20mm switches, which do sound like your average Omron. They're really light and crisp, and there's really not much of any post-travel on these, which is really nice. Although I will say on the sides here, I couldn't really figure out what switches were on the sides, but there is a tremendous amount of post-travel. But let's go ahead and give you a sound test of everything, including this really nice scroll wheel. Incredibly smooth, but it also gives you nice tactile feel. Really reminds me of a racket wheel, and that's something that can be praised upon, as their wheels are some of the best in the industry. But let's go ahead and give you that sound test. And you can see here with the G305 on top of the 303 how similar the side button placements are, and really almost how identical the actual molding or form of the side buttons are. But I will say that these protrude out a little bit more on the 303, and that is a lot more comfortable. They're also a lot more firm, while the G305, they've always been known to be really mushy, and that's the case with my copy, whereas with these are nice solid clicks. Really, really great to work with. This mouse is by no means a lightweight mouse going into 2021, but it is 75 grams without a battery. Add a AA alkaline, you're looking at 99 grams, and replace it with a lithium AAA battery with the adapter, and we're looking at right around 85, 86 grams. The coating is actually really nice on the surface, as it's smooth, but it does offer a little bit of grip. It's not glossy. It definitely has that matte finish, but not the matte finish like the XM1 that's going to simply just collect fingerprint after fingerprint. And it doesn't have that PBT or razor texture, where it definitely has a very noticeable roughness to it, like a razor product. All in all, though, the surface is really nice, and I didn't notice any premature wear in the 60 plus hours that I was able to put into this. Using the 303 for almost a week now, I've really felt like I've had this mouse for longer than that, only because of the very familiar shape that we're used to from the G305. I did not have any concerns at all, and I didn't feel any discomfort as I was using this with the claw grip. You can definitely use this at the fingertip. If it's going to be a palm grip, you definitely got to have small hands. My hand size is a 19 by 10 centimeter size, and I definitely go for a relaxed or aggressive claw grip with most of my actual gameplay. If I'm just casually browsing the internet, or if I use this for work, I can really go with any grip and really be comfortable with it, but my hands are going to hang off the sides if I go with a palm. Overall, though, I would say despite its shortcomings with a rather subpar sensor, I didn't have any concerns with it reading when I was in game, but the liftoff distance is a bother to me, but shape is king, and that's always going to reign supreme, and that's where I feel like this excels over the G305. So if you're looking for a G305 that's going to be a little bit larger, not as narrow or where it's more sunken in sides, I would say definitely give the flat-sided i303 Pro a try, as I feel like the hump and the overall dimensions of this mouse is just overall more comfortable, and I didn't have any cramping or any sort when I did use this mouse, and that's always something that is a concern for a lot of folks when they get into that egg-shaped style mouse. So definitely let me know if this is something that you picked up or you want to pick up. Let me know in the comments. If you like the video, please throw a like, and of course hit that subscription button, as I would greatly appreciate it. Until next time, you guys have yourself a great and safe new year.